Okay, so I think we have to assume that the motion is there a good reason to believe in God? I think we have to assume that the God with a capital G is the personal, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good God that has a particular focus on human beings. Because if we go into the whole area of the, well, there must be something up there and we don't know what it is, type of God, we're going to get nowhere. The type of God that we're concerned about is the personal God that has a focus on human beings. And what are the claims made about that God typically? That he is supposed to have created everything that exists for our benefit, and so that he can communicate with us, so we can have a personal relationship with him, so that he can enable us to go to heaven or to hell in order to give us eternity with either protection or damnation for our immortal souls. Now, how do we evaluate those claims? And I suggest that the difficulty with evaluating religious claims is that we take leave of our senses when we discuss religion. Because normally when we're asked to evaluate a claim, what we do is we proportion our belief to the evidence. And as the claims become increasingly implausible, what we do is we raise the bar of evidence that we require in order to believe that claim. But with religion and belief in God, we do the exact opposite. As the claims become more implausible, what we do is we reduce or lower the bar of evidence that we require, to the extent that we're believing in not only implausible claims, but literally untestable claims, and then we're asked to live our lives on the basis of those claims. So let's ask ourselves about this perfect, all-powerful, all-good, personal God that is a focus on human beings, and let's ask whether it is more likely, based on the extent of that claim, that he actually exists, or that humans have invented that claim at a time before science showed us that we don't need to invent that claim. Now, in terms of fine-tuning, let's look at fine-tuning the other way around, and let's look at the universe that is supposedly fine-tuned for life. Now, I'm going to use approximate figures here, but they're conservative, and they're close enough to make the point. The observable universe is over 100,000 million galaxies. Each of them has over 100,000 billion stars like our sun, and they have a total of about 150 million planets throughout the universe. The observable universe is 13.8 thousand billion light years away in every distance, an observable diameter of 28,000 million light years. And that diameter itself is expanding, because that's only starting from the time that the light started to come to us from then, and it's been expanding since then. So having created this vast universe, let's see how this all-powerful, all-knowing, fine-tuning God dealt with his human project. A light year is 6 million miles. Our sun is 8 light minutes away. There can be 5 light years between each star, so God has wasted almost all of space with regard to his human project. Out of 100,000 million galaxies, God has wasted all but one galaxy. Out of 1,000 million stars, God has wasted all but one star. I'll finish the point first, and then I'll take the point of information. Out of 150 million planets, God has wasted all but one planet. Which brings us to planet Earth, the grand stage of God's purpose for his creation, which is we, humans. The universe is 13.8 thousand million years old, and Earth is 4.5 thousand million years old, so God has wasted the first 9.3 thousand million years of the universe with regard to his human project. The Earth is 4.5 thousand billion years old, humans are 200,000 years old, so God has wasted the first 4.49998 thousand billion years of the Earth with regard to his human project. Humans are 200,000 years old. The Abrahamic God revealed himself to humans 4,000 years ago, so God has wasted the first 196,000 years of humanity. There have been 5,000 million species on Earth. 99% of them are extinct, so God has wasted all of those. Of the remaining 50 million species, God is currently wasting 49.99999 million of them, because God created everything for just one species, which happens is us humans. We humans, we alone on the planet and alone in our galaxy and alone in the universe, are the only ones with immortal souls. There have been over 100,000 million humans, about 7,000 million alive today. God gives all of these people different messages, and every religion is in an overall minority, and God's priority when he does give messages to people is to tell them that it's important that they don't gather sticks on the Sabbath, and then he's going to impregnate a virgin in order to give birth to himself, then he's going to give Muhammad a lift on a flying horse, and then he's going to appear in Joseph Smith's hat in order to attire him in magic underpants. That's the priorities of this God, and he has created an entire universe in order to fulfill those priorities. human life, no, I'll take it at the end. Human life is as we would expect based on natural evolution. It's not as we would expect based on intelligent design. It's arguably what we would expect based on stupid design or based on no design. We can live on only a small part of our planet's surface. The part that we can live on has earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis. We can die within minutes of being deprived of oxygen. We can die from birth defects. We can die from cancers. We can die from ectopic pregnancies. We can die from any range of diseases. We can believe absurd claims based on disproportionate evidence, which is what we're seeing from the opposition tonight. We can do things that are counterproductive to our survival, and those of us who do the fewest things that are counterproductive to our survival are the ones that survive. Human life is as we would expect based on natural evolution. It is not as we would expect based on the design of an all-powerful, all-knowing, no thank you, all-knowing, all-good, human-focused God. I'm going to finish up by referring to morality because it's mentioned by the other side of it. Morality is a natural function of our brains. It is an evolved trait of social animals that enable us to live together. It's based on evolved traits such as compassion and empathy and reciprocity and cooperation and fairness and justice. And those evolved traits enable us to live together as social animals. Now, it's a tricky enough decision at any stage to say, what is the right thing to do morally? But what religion does and belief in God does is it corrupts that already difficult task by adding in irrelevant instructions supposedly revealed to us by an imaginary God and that have nothing to do with compassion and empathy. One of our opposed tonight referred to the question of whether rape is objectively morally wrong. Well, not in the Bible it isn't. In the Bible you're encouraged to rape people when you overcome the city in battle. You can kill people almost at random in the Bible if God decides so. The Ten Commandments are not a set of commands for good, morally good. They're a set of commands to strengthen the position of adult males in a particular tribe at a particular time. So I'll just conclude by reminding us of the test that I suggest that we look at. Is based on the evidence, which is more likely? Does this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-good, intervening, personal God who has a focus on human beings actually exist? Or was he invented by humans as a story to explain things that we didn't understand at a time that we didn't have the science to understand it? I'm not making any claims about what caused all of this to happen. We don't yet know what caused all this to happen. But we know what happened from the Big Bang on, but we don't know what caused the Big Bang to happen. But to believe that all this happened because of that Creator God created all of that universe for that purpose is so absurd and so self-centered and so arrogant to claim that there is no good reason to believe in God. Thank you very much.